All right, I'm so excited for the very vivacious, very beautiful, probably richer than you, incredible soul, more generous than you. Veronica had the great pleasure of being able to be with her in a mastermind with Louisa Joe, who is like a multimillionaire. And you're going to love her because she's an amazing consultant. She actually has a soul, unlike other consultants. You'll love her energy. You wish you were half as cool as her. And I wish my podcast was like maybe a quarter as cool and professional as hers. So if you are a consultant, you can't miss this interview. So welcome, Veronica. How are you doing?
Oh my goodness, Lee, thank you so much for that introduction. I want to definitely live up to it, but I'm already laughing because
I surpassed it. I anyway.
But, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here because we haven't talked in a little bit. So this is more of a conversation for us to catch up and your listeners get to listen in. So let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. I love it, right? Because we catch up, which is a more important part, and then some other random people listen to it, which I don't really care. Okay, so what's like a funny consultant situation that you've been in?
So the thing that comes to mind when you ask me that is one, this was a while ago, quite a few years ago, I was referred to a lead via email. So one of my clients just basically made an email introduction to another potential client. Mm-hmm. He and I exchanged emails. We spoke on the phone, and ultimately I got hired to do this project for them. Mm-hmm. But when I arrived on site for the project and to meet with the team, they all looked really surprised.
Why?
So much so, well, the president had to pull me aside and explain to me that they were all expecting me to be Japanese. Because I know. So as you know, I'm short, dark-skinned Hispanic woman.
What's your last name? And what does it mean in Spanish?
My last name is pronounced Sagastume. It's Spanish. It's Spanish from Spain, yeah. But they somehow started saying Sakatumi. Sakatumi. They never looked me up on social media, never looked me up on LinkedIn. So when I showed up, they were like, what the heck? So we all had a good laugh about it, but now I put my photo on my email signature so everybody knows who to expect when I show up.
Well, you could be half Japanese.
I could, but no, I'm 100% Hispanic.
Was this like a long time ago, or was this like
this was about 5 years ago?
Oh,
so before I was on social media. So yeah,
it's all right, but
yeah,
okay, that's interesting. Because like there was like this Miss Japanese woman, and she's like half something, and then people were like, oh my gosh, she's not Japanese. Anyways, okay, so how did you get into like consulting, and then like now you do online business to teach professionals on how to start their own consulting business? How did that happen?
So I would say my corporate career led me down the path of becoming a chief financial officer, chief operating officer. So I definitely climbed up that corporate ladder. Mm-hmm. But around the end of 2010, I got a new executive job with, the corner office with the team, all the perks that come with that. But at that time, it started to feel like one executive job was very similar to the other. And I started to crave just having something of my very own, wanting to have some creative freedom and picking projects that I really wanted to work on and a bigger impact. And I just kept thinking, God, there's got to be something else. Maybe I'm picking the wrong industries to work in. Mm-hmm. But I then, at that time, I was again with a new employer, and we were interviewing a project manager, and it was a consultant. And after meeting with him, I thought to myself, I can do that. I can leverage all of my CFO, COO background and start my own consulting practice. But at that same time, my grandmother, who raised me and I was very close to, she was also going through physical therapy. And I hated having to ask permission to go be with her for her doctor's appointments and physical therapy. And I just thought, I think I'm going to just go on my own. And I did what I recommend so many of my clients do. And I spoke to my employer. I mean, I was an executive, so I know that I couldn't be replaced in a week or two. So I proposed to him that I convert from employee to a consultant, and I would help to find my replacement, and I would still continue to deliver on projects and services that they needed right away while they looked for my replacement. So my last employer became my first client.
Wow.
So that's how I got into that. And then 5 years later, I started to cap out with the one-on-one clients and started to realize that there was this whole online market where you could service a much larger community, have a bigger impact because you could reach so many more people online. And that's when I started to expand and beyond doing the one-on-one client service or I would have client facing clients in here in the Silicon Valley in San Francisco. I would then develop these programs to teach other professionals how to start their own consulting business.
I love that. So you have a great background. You're like I remember when we were in Austin in the mastermind, like I feel like everyone in the room was falling apart except you. And then you were so calm and so collected. And I feel like it does come from your corporate background. And you share with me something that was very, very interesting. So how would you advise like women who are in consulting who have reached a certain level? What would you advise to them? And then like, can you repeat what you kind of told me about like, maybe family and like how you talk to these people in a male dominated industry?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for bringing that up, Lee. As a matter of fact, it does, even though time gets better, the times, what is that? The times do get better. They also stay the same because in certain industries, especially if it's male dominant, like used to be like the financial arena or financial services, insurance, certain law aspects of the law, it was very male dominant and driven. And so it was hard to have a place as a female to come in, whether you're an executive or a consultant. So you needed to almost like outdo, overperform, delight, you need to become prepared. And I couldn't stress that enough. I've never been a wing it person, but especially if you are in an industry where you have to show up prepared, you have to show up professional, but still be yourself. And that's sometimes a really hard balance because being yourself sometimes is not the most accepted, method in corporate America. So you have to have a balance of like read the room very quickly and understand who is your audience. Do I need to show up as the professional Veronica with a corporate speak, or do I need to show up as, hey, relax Veronica that can joke around with people and ask them how was their weekend or what they're going to do this holiday season? So you have to be able to read the room and at the same time understand that behind every professional, behind every business person, there is a human being. And there's always things going on. And before you jump to a conclusion, you pause and think, what is that person going through? What is that person, it could be something else besides the fact that they didn't come prepared. So step back. I would say my friends who have kids have actually taught me to be a much better professional, whether it's an employee, an executive, or a business owner. Because I now understand that as a family, whether you're a mom or a caretaker for an elderly parent, as I was with my grandmother, you always have this balance of family, home life, and then your professional business or job. So try to think about what is the other person going through before you jump all over them because of something that they didn't deliver on.
I love that.
Does that answer the question? I think.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, you're so compassionate. Like you are really down to earth. We were just talking about this, but it's very refreshing to hear from that. So thank you for that. And what is the difference between working for a company and yourself, if you think there's any differences?
Oh, there's a huge difference. I think when you work for a company as an employee, it's the steady paycheck, right? The benefits that come with that, especially if it's a big company, because there's already standard operating procedures. You know what your job's going to be. You're showing up and letting somebody else making the big decisions, especially if you're not at the executive level. You're not in charge of, things. You're part of a team. Hopefully you are. But you're not in charge of the vision, the mission, the drive. But you get to have some steady income. You get to have a little bit of a career path. You get to have that collaboration that comes with colleagues. Isn't that awesome? I mean, I kind of miss, that, but
water cooler combos.
Yeah, the water cooler. Oh my God, did you watch, The Walking Dead last night?
I saw
I have to join some groups now to be able to talk about the shows that I love.
Join Twitter groups.
You know what?
Yeah,
that's absolutely right. Because I'll tell you, especially the Game of Thrones, my favorite series, Game of Thrones, was ending. We were on Twitter. And I think when you work for yourself, the business starts and ends with your vision. You're the drive, you're the one that focuses yourself, the team, the initiative, the persistence, and all the other things that come with it. You know, sometimes you're not motivated and you got to motivate yourself. So when you work for yourself, yeah, it's sometimes hard. That's what I'm kind of, you know, talking about right now. And it could be challenging, sometimes defeating, and you make mistakes, but you also get to create something of your own. You know, you get to take pride in helping people with that thing that you thought about. The thing that you're creating, the system that you developed, your awesome sauce. You get to make that impact and the difference. And then hopefully if you hire a team, you also get to help other people live their dream by either working from home or working flexible hours. You get to be your own boss, but be careful with that because you don't want to end up being in the same situation that you were when you had a job.
Yes, so true. Yeah. And one of the things, like, you kind of help your clients get away from that. So that's really good. Love it. And so what are some mistakes that beginning consultants make?
Okay, this is one of my favorite questions because there's always a theme. It really is. There's like 4 mistakes. I'll just summarize them very quickly here. But one of the main things that holds people back, it's not starting at all. Wanting to do something different, wanting to start their own thing, but fear gets in the way, lack of confidence. They start to get, you know, full of self-doubt. We are so good at talking ourselves out of something, you know, instead of talking ourselves into doing something.
Yes.
So not starting out of fear is one thing that I see. Another one is once you get started, saying yes to everything. And what I mean by that, as a consultant, a coach, a freelancer, especially if you're capable, people will be like, can you do this? Can you do that? They'll start overloading you with things that you don't like to do, that you don't want to do. And pretty soon you've built a consulting practice or a business full of things that you don't want to do. And you're miserable. And then you start thinking, maybe I should just go back to my 9 to 5, which by the way, that 9 to 5 thing is a myth. No one works 9 to 5. It's always much longer. And the third mistake I would say is pricing. People, when they start out, they underprice their services. Again, it's out of fear or not valuing their services enough or feeling very insecure about who's going to pay me to do that. It's so easy, not realizing that what they have is a level of expertise that other people are willing to pay for. Yeah, I think there was more. Oh, you know what? There's one more. And this just came up last week with a client. And it's not having strong language around compensation, meaning like when they're going to get paid, you know, being very clear, because people are uncomfortable talking about money. So you need to get comfortable talking about money. You need to make sure that your voice doesn't fluctuate and go down. Oh, well, I only charge this much, right? Own it. You deserve it. You've got a lot of experience and a lot of skills and a lot of, you know, it's just basically your education in life and whatever, maybe scholastic, but you want to make sure that you build language in your contract to say, here's what I charge and here's when my bill is due. So those 4. Lots of mistakes, but you can prepare for all of those. You can work and prepare to avoid all of those mistakes so that you know what to do right from the get-go, and you're not stuck in the middle of that 2 years later and thinking, oh my God, I'm cash flow poor, or I'm not doing as much as I could be because I'm just kind of stuck in this loop of low fee charging, not paying, my clients don't pay me on time. I don't know how to get out of this. And then you start thinking, let me go back to my 9 to 5, which you shouldn't do.
I love that. I feel like I've made all of these mistakes and I wish I met you earlier. So thank you. Yeah, seriously.
Just keep you out of trouble.
Seriously, I might get into some real big trouble if you don't listen. So awesome. I love the responses. So what are your tips on working for a big company as a consultant?
Ooh, that's a good question. It also depends on who the big company is. And I'm going to say that because I'm here, I'm in the Silicon Valley. And so sometimes some of the companies could be a very high-tech company that, you know, they'll just go with the flow. Other times it could be a very structured firm that they want to cross every T and dot every I. But from my standpoint, I don't care who the client is. I'm going to want to make sure that I show up professional by having documents in place ready to go. So for example, I have templates for like fill out a proposal, a scope of work, things that would typically take a lot of time to create. They're ready to go. And I just highlight the sections that we need to sort of fill in the blanks. I call it like coloring by numbers, right? You just have that right, because as soon as you have a meeting with that potential client and you walk away and say, okay, I'll follow up by Monday. That's the other thing. Follow up and follow through on what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. If I tell you I'm going to have a proposal to you by the end of the week, it better be in your hands by Friday, if not before, because that's the other tip. It's you want to delight your client, over deliver, and be of service and provide value. And you can do that with the simplest of things, like follow up with a thank you email or even a handwritten note. I really enjoyed meeting the team. I look forward to being part of it and can't wait to contribute to the project. Or, you know, deliver on that, make it easy for them to review and sign off on the proposal by doing it electronically. You know, gone are those days where you attach something to the email. And then just make sure that you follow up and follow through. Hey, I send you the proposal, just want to confirm that you received it. You see how simple those things are? When you're working with a big company, that's the level of professionalism that they expect. And it doesn't matter if you're going to be a social media manager or an SEO specialist, the photographer for a project. It's the same level of professionalism from whatever freelancer, consultant, coaching, trainer that they're hiring.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it's like, they became this level of, you know, big company because they were reliable. And
exactly.
You know, unlike the stupid comics who flaked out on my podcast. Okay. I hope you guys are listening, because you guys didn't even like say, oh, I'm not going to show up because I'm late or do anything. Sorry. I just had to vent. Okay. Anyway.
No, but that's the worst, Lee, when you expect somebody to show up and they don't. It's like when you,
and they don't.
Isn't that the worst nightmare when you're preparing to have a party and nobody RSVPs and you don't know how many people are going to show up or if anybody's going to show up?
I would just kill people after that. I just go on a homicidal rage. Okay.
You'd be on that, what is that show, that channel, IMD, or, what is it at? You know, the criminal, they're always ID, investigative. Discovery. Yeah.
I think they just snapped because, I mean, criminals are normal people too, right? It's just too many people who flaked on them at parties and just podcast and then they snap and they start to kill people. So
I don't want to see you on an episode, okay? I do not want to see you on an episode of them.
I promise you. Okay. At least until I finish my 1001 episode. Then I can go on my
okay.
Okay. So who do you find funny besides us, if that's even humanly possible? Who's number
So I would say, instead of who, I'm going to just share a couple of shows that Eric and I we love whenever it's just, they're funny and they're ridiculous, but also they're just feel good and hilarious. One of them is no longer on the air. It's called Happy Endings. They only had 3 seasons.
What is that about?
It's, I think it's like 6. I know, right? It's the name itself, right? Happy Ending. It's like 6 friends, and all the scenarios that these friends get into are just ridiculous. And sometimes, you know, when you've had a really hard day or challenging, you just want to watch something silly that makes you laugh. And this show only had 3 seasons, but every episode is pretty damn funny.
I love that.
I hope you check it out, because it's not on, I don't think it's on any other cable TVs. We watch it on Amazon Prime. And then the other 2 are still in circulation. One of them is Schitt's Creek and Kim's Convenience. Kim's Convenience is the Korean-Canadian family running a convenience store. And they're, oh my God.
We were talking about Schitt's Creek in Austin, I think.
Oh God, yeah, you know, it's still on and we love it. Because again, it's just ridiculous scenarios. It's feel good, just relax people. It's a show, it's comedy. It's not meant to be real life. It's, you know, don't watch it if you're going to get easily offended. So
I love it. All right. The snowflakes in California may not be able to take it. But so who's your favorite comedian?
I actually have 2. One of them would be Joe Coy, and the other one is Joe Coy. I love him because a lot of the times that when he's talking about his family situations, especially his mom, we can all relate to that. I mean, I can put my grandmother or my aunties in that situation. And the other one is Ali Wong. I think you and I share that. Ali Wong is one of my favorite comedians. Yeah. And we're excited because we get to see her in January here in San Francisco.
Yeah. So, oh my God.
Yeah.
Probably sold out theaters. She's killing it. And
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome to see
Yeah.
female minority comics
I
always get.
love that.
Yeah. Okay, so growing up, like, who did you want to be?
Who did I want to be? Well, I grew up in another country, so I didn't really have like a role model in terms of like, it's having somebody that I wanted to be like. But I know that little Veronica was a little hustlerly. I loved making things, but I also loved putting money in my piggy bank.
Yeah.
So
What did you sell?
What was that?
What did you sell? What was like the first thing that you
So
sold?
the thing that comes to mind is it's actually this paper making kit that my grandmother sent to me. And it was like you could make these big paper flowers with the stems. And she had also sent me this little bottle of spray perfume. So I would spray the flowers so they would smell good. And whoever came to our house, God help them, because I would be like, don't you want to buy a flower for your mom? Doesn't your girlfriend deserve something pretty? I mean, I was just...
You're like, don't you want to? You're so smart. How old are you?
I was between 8 or 9.
Oh my
and
God,
my
you're
pitch
teaching a
wasn't...
kid inside. Do you want to? You're just like, don't you want to buy
Don't you
one?
want to buy? It's like, but I would always say also things like, don't you think your girlfriend deserves something pretty? Oh my God. To this day, my uncles will tease me about that. Like, oh my God. And who could say no to like an 8 or 9-year-old little Veronica, right? So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you're as cute as you are now, oh my God, nobody would be able to say no. Holy shit, that's hilarious.
I sold out.
I'm going to use my child. If I have children in the future, I'm going to use their child labor to sell. Great.
Do it.
I love it. Yeah.
Do it.
All right. Now I just have to make sure I have cute kids. So we'll see. Okay. So how you actually run a podcast as well? So any tips on how I can make my podcast half as professional as yours? Because this is like, my keyboard has 2 keys missing, and I'm not going to edit anything. I don't have an intro music because I don't give a fuck. How do you make my podcast professional?
Well, I've listened to quite a few of your podcast episodes now, because you send them to YouTube, so I play them while I'm getting ready.
Oh, okay.
And I would say one of the things I was going to actually say is like your audience probably really appreciates the interviews that you bring on, because they're diverse. It's different different interviews all the time. But I think ultimately your audience is coming back for you. So you need to think about what you may want to offer them. Maybe do
nothing.
Or even invite them to like a local show that you're doing. I think even that, to see you in person.
I'm beefing with the comedy scene where I am right now.
Awesome.
At the time of this, right? So I don't even know if I want to involve them in potential violence. Thank you. But that's true. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
No, that's okay. But I was just thinking, like, once in a while, maybe do a solo episode that people can hear your point of view, your take on something, and then how they could work with you, because you're giving us this amazing platform and spotlight so that we can talk about our business and our industry or our experiences. But I think your audience ultimately wants to hear from you too.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Holy shit. I wanted editing and like, professional graphics tips, because okay. Let's talk about your graphics, because your graphics are so amazing. Your website's so professional. Like everything is just polished. Can you tell us how you do it?
Sure. I appreciate that you're giving me that feedback. It's always nice to hear that, but it's also trial and error. It's also reacting to what do I like online, and then wanting to not mimic or duplicate or even copy, but being like, okay, I don't like a lot of clutter. I like it being more streamlined. I like to focus the eye. But we do it, all of my graphics, everything banner-wise and stuff is done on Canva. And Canva, we started out with the free application, but we upgraded to the paid one so that my team can use it as well. And I just give really clear, I guess, guidance in terms of I don't want my image to be cutesy. Like I don't use a lot of flowers or feminine. So it's about who you are and how you want to represent. And you have used the word professional quite a few times with me, Lisa. And that's, while I'm still really relaxed and I love to joke around. I love comedy. I love to help people. I also want to come across as stylish, but also classic stylish professional, if those are the words.
Very true. Yes.
So I just we do it all on Canva. And while my team, I do have somebody that helps me now to create a lot of them, I ultimately will review and approve or reject what they create. And I think that guidance or feedback is what has made every single year that we get better. Is it comes from that. It's just reacting to what I like and what I don't like. And hopefully it's attracting the right people, because if they're expecting a lot of, I don't know, flowers and pastels and other things, it's not going to be me. So
yeah, because your image is stylish, but it's a more, I would say, trustworthy. Because I think if it's too feminine, if it's too on the woo-woo side, I'm like, kind of like, do you know the structures of everything? And especially because you come from corporate, I do appreciate the effort that you put into yours and your branding and sticking by it. So, okay, the next question, I don't know if I kind of asked it before, but it's like, how can I work with big corporate clients if I've never worked with corporate clients ever?
Oh, yeah.
How can I get them? Yeah.
So let me think about that, because there are a couple of different ways to go about it. One of them is if you're able to go to a local event, like there's a lot of meetups, you could sign up for meetup. I think it's meetup.com or .org. I don't remember, but it'll show you that, it'll show you the different local meetups that there are. Some are very small, some are much bigger. So it depends on your personality. I'm an introvert. I like smaller groups. I get really anxious with bigger groups, but sometimes the topic is really interesting. So showing up to events, and also being ready to talk about what it is that you do or what you specialize in or who you help. You don't have to have all those three, but at the very least, kind of show up ready to say, oh, I work with professionals who are thinking about starting their own consulting business, whatever your tagline is. And I would say also look at your contacts in your network and reach out, reconnect, and ask for the introduction. Ask for, hey, do you know somebody who may be a good contact for me to get in touch with in order to, pitch my services or practice? I'm looking for a beta client to test this on. So that would be a second way. But I'm going to share with you a tip that I share with my own clients. And that is, go look at job postings in your area, especially if it's a part-time job posting. And what you do is you create a cover letter. Or I say cover letter, that's so old school. That's me. I'm old school. That's my middle name.
People still say that. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like it's a cover letter, but it could be an email or a message through LinkedIn or a private message on Facebook. But basically what it is let's say you see a job posting for something that you can totally do, but as a consultant or a freelancer or a trainer, and you write to them and you pitch your services and you highlight the benefits of why they may want to consider hiring an independent consultant or a freelancer as opposed to hiring a full-time employee or a part-time employee. And so that alone has landed me several clients, because I would just kind of highlight the fact that, hey, instead of bringing somebody in that may not be a good fit, and you'll have to go through the whole hiring process and put them on the payroll and the benefits and pay for workers' comp and give them an office or a desk area, why not hire an independent consultant who has a proven track record, who can come in and work on this project as a test to see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, you don't have to terminate them or you don't have to keep them on. You can you see how you can pitch a job posting.
Yeah, that's genius. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm totally going to steal your idea.
Do it. You can have
everyone steal Veronica's ideas. Okay, so not only do you allow us to steal ideas from you, you also do work with clients. So can you share with us, what are your clients' success stories like?
Sure. And with my clients, because I have two sides to my business, I do have corporate clients that I do CFO consulting for. And so those corporate clients are, where I go and show up it's a one-on-one type of client. But the online space is where I have clients that I help them to either start their full-time consulting or freelance business, or even as a part-time, I hate to call it a side hustle, but you start out slowly while you're still at your 9-to-5 job. And so some of my success stories it's a variety of things that will be even asking for a higher consulting rate. I'll coach them on how to go either increase their fees for the new year. I love January, by the way, because it's a great time for you to increase your fees to existing clients. Or to truly, if you had a client for a while and they were at a standard rate, how to go about getting a higher consulting rate. so that you feel like sometimes you discount your rate because you want to get the social proof and you want to get the track record. But after a while, you are worth your rate. So I help them to ask for that higher consulting rate, and they get it, of course, every single time. Finding their first consulting client inside of their contacts in their network, just with a few emails. I actually have a free resource about that, and I'll talk about that in a little bit or at the end of the interview.
Can you just share now? Because like,
sure,
yeah.
Sure. So I just released this new resource 2 weeks ago, and it's called Nurture Your Network Without Being Annoying. Because what it is a lot of times I put these email sequence templates, swipe files, templates, whatever you want to call it. And again, it's almost like a fill in the blank or color by numbers, where there is a way to reach out to your network without selling yourself on the first, second, or third email. That is just about reconnecting with your network. It's about making sure that the contacts you've been accumulating all along in your career, or your, just by going to events or meetup events or conferences, you collect names, you collect titles, you collect business cards. So what we don't do is we don't continue the relationship. We don't nurture those relationships. So this Nurture Your Network resource that I created, it's a guide helping you as to, like, with 6 emails, how you can reconnect and actually find your client inside of your contacts in your network. And you can get that, just go to my website, veronicasagastume.com / it's in the homepage, but if not, you can do /nurture, and you can grab it there. Then another couple of wins for my clients are, I help them to set boundaries so that their consulting practice doesn't end up looking like they have 7 bosses as opposed to 7 clients.
That's so good. Yeah.
Again, we want to say yes to everything, and we want to over deliver, but that doesn't mean that you are texting someone Saturday night or interfering with your Sunday family dinner. So setting boundaries, language around that. And then also, just like how to start your consulting business while still at your full-time job. That's the biggie. So those are all wins that, I have a handful of clients that I'm working with right now where they've each have had a win in one of those areas.
Awesome. What's the URL again? Oh,
the URL is Veronica. Do you want me to spell it, Lee?
Yeah, that'd be great. Our listeners are dumb.
Veronica, and the last name Sagastume, S as in Sam, A, G as in George, ASTUME.com. And they can go to the homepage and grab the resource. It's free and it's beefy because it works. I've gotten great feedback on it. People have been using it, and within a couple of emails, they've already told me that they've gotten, whether it's virtual coffees scheduled, or people were like, "Oh my God, it's so great to hear from you. We were just talking about you," and that's how the conversation starts.
Wow, I love it. I'm gonna grab it now, but I want to grab it now, but I have to stay on to it.
Please finish with me first.
Yeah, what do I do first? All right. So, okay. So, what do you look for in a mentor? Because you leapfrog so fast. I feel like you're the most successful person out of our whole cohort, if we call it a cohort. So, how do you pick people you choose to mentor?
So for me, if I'm going to choose or to hire a mentor, I will say Louisa Jo, she spoiled us because she was my very first one-on-one coach.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I hired her to be my one-on-one coach back at the end of 2015. And I loved how organized she was. I loved that she was direct and she was prepared for our calls, and she was like, no nonsense. I react really well to that. But I'm looking for someone with a proven track record. I'm looking for someone who has been seasoned and experienced in the thing that I want to learn. So I want somebody that either has that business model that I want to achieve, that next level. But more importantly, I want to make sure that that person has a similar teaching or coaching style that will resonate with me. I'm not a very big woo person. I don't need a lot of accolades or, oh, good job. And I don't need hand holding. So I'd like somebody who's just kind of matter of fact, do this or try this out. And and somebody that I'm going to be able to speak to their references, they're not going to be shy about sharing a handful of people that I can speak to in order for me to really ask the questions that I want to ask, especially if I'm going to invest a really high dollar value or dollar amount.
I love that. And what do you advise others to look for in a mentor?
So I would say don't go off of just the price. You know, like a lot of people will leave like, how much do you charge? That's
Mm.
not always the best, like measurement
Right,
of
right.
a mentor. You want to do your own due diligence, and due diligence is just a fancy word for do your homework. Go find
Mm.
out about the person. Go look at their social media. Is it consistent? Go way back. Look at their testimonials. Again, ask for references, just like you would in a job, right? It's like,
Right.
let me go speak to people who have actually worked with you in this
Yes.
capacity. What would they
Mhm.
have to say besides the testimonials? Because you know, when you give a reference, when you're working at a corporate job, you give a
Mhm.
reference, you're not going to give someone who's going to say bad things about you.
Right, right,
Well,
exactly.
the same thing with those testimonials. You're not going to put a bad testimonial on your website or your social media, right? So
Yeah.
you want to speak, I would say, speak to people who have hired that mentor and ask them how it was to work with them. Have a same 4 or 5 questions so that you can really compare what people are saying. And yeah, I would just say, take your time and do your homework. So
I love that. Great. So, what kinds of people do you love working with?
I love working with people who are decisive, even if they're afraid that they're going to make a decision, commit and take action. I like
Mhm.
action takers. And I also like to work with people who understand that in order to start, run and grow a business, it will require them to invest time and money in the business and in themselves.
Mm.
That's who I like to work with.
I love that. And then, what's the flip side? Who do you prefer not to work with?
So if there's a person who hasn't had a lot of work experience and doesn't have any kind of like structure as a reference point, those are hard people to work with because they think it should be one way, and so they're not the most coachable. I
Mm.
also do not, if there's a person who is not resourceful or needs a lot of hand holding and a lot of validation, I'm probably not going to be a good fit for them,
Mm.
because I just feel like everybody's a grown up and a
Right.
professional, and you
Yeah.
need to get things done.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So, what's the difference between online and offline consulting?
So, gosh, there's some differences and then some similarities, but the differences would be, I think that the offline people expect you to be more on site or more
Mm.
readily available in person. They're not as comfortable with the virtual side of business. And I think it also, it's a different audience, it's a different pricing structure, and they have different expectations. So you're still able to make an impact. It's just different, and you need to be really clear about who it is that you're speaking to, who you're showing up for. In the online space, we're so lucky. We get all these social media accounts for free. We're
Yeah.
able to have our own TV channel and Facebook by doing our Facebook live shows. The
Exactly.
same thing with YouTube. We get to have our own TV channel where we're the stars, we're the producers. We get to like schedule who's going to show up in the lineup this week.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think because we're online, we're able to have a greater impact and be able to go deeper with people
So,
across so many different state lines and even countries sometimes.
yeah, absolutely. I love that. So, what surprised you the most about running a consulting business?
So as a consultant myself, I felt like I was going to miss that team structure, like being part of a team and feeling like
Yeah.
I was part of a bigger thing when
Yeah.
you're an employee. But what I found
Mhm.
is if I show up with the intent of being part of that team, even though I'm a consultant,
Yeah.
I have become part of the team. I even like last week, I showed up to a client. I hadn't seen them in over a year. I went to the San Francisco headquarters. And when I walked in, I was greeted by all these people that knew me with
Oh,
open arms and a hug. And everybody was so excited and happy to see me. And I'm like, I'm just a consultant. I shouldn't say just a consultant, but it was like they were having their holiday party. And, it's just an amazing experience that's been the most surprising thing. Wherever I have gone, I have been able to immerse myself and become part of the team and have them welcome me as a team member, even though I'm an independent consultant who's just there in a different capacity. So that's been one of the best surprises. And I'm able to also do that with my online clients. It starts to feel more like a relationship and friendships than the client mentor. Although that's still there and there's boundaries, you get to know people on a deeper level when it's over the phone or on video.
Something cut off. Hello?
Oh, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why the audio is a little bit soft now. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay, here you are. Okay, sorry. It must be on my end. Yeah, something happened with my audio.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So, did I cut you off?
I don't think so. I think I was done.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because sorry, audio.
It's okay.
Crap. Hopefully, I can grow your...
Ooh, Lee, you cut off. Audio's gone.
But, okay, the core of the interview. Okay, so how can I marry an ugly, fat, and rich consultant?
I'm going to say to you, if you're going to get married again, why would you marry that instead of a good-looking, fit, successful consultant?
Because, okay, this is my logic.
Okay.
Because if they're old and fat, they're not likely to find another one. So they're more likely to cherish me, right? Because if you're a consultant, it's a pretty good job, right? It's a pretty good job.
Yes,
so
especially if you do it well.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, this fit and hot consultant, like, I would feel annoyed because I'm not the star in the relationship.
I see.
And I would try to sabotage him by making him fat or pour acid on his face if we get into a really serious argument.
Oh my God, vicious. I'm like, hey, if you're serious about that, then I would say go to workshops and seminars on the topics that are boring to most, but interesting to some. Like go to webinars and workshops, seminars on tax, sales tax, insurance. Again, those are interesting to some of us, not so interesting to others. So,
but male dominated, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. You
You're welcome.
Help me plan my 2020. All right, I love it. Okay, so before we share with the audience how we can further work with you, do you have any advice? That you gave us so much good stuff, so is there anything that you missed that you would like to share with the audience?
I would say if you are sitting there as a professional and you're craving some sort of freedom or, like flexibility, making more money, having a bigger impact, don't get intimidated by what everybody else has been doing or what everybody else is doing right now. Look at yourself, run your own race, take inventory of your skills, the knowledge. You already know more than somebody else that you can help. So just put a simple offer together, look at your network, reconnect with people, and just put an offer out there and see what happens to gain that momentum, to gain some self-confidence. And I would just say, if you're craving those things, you've got nothing to lose because you're at your job. So go try it.
I love that. So how can we work with you? What's your website? How can we stalk you on social media?
Stalk me all you want. My website is veronicasagastume.com. And on there's a couple of tabs. The homepage, like I already said, I'm sharing my free resource, Nurture Your Network Without Being Annoying. That's completely free. So you sign up for that. And it comes with an email sequence with a lot of other best practices and tips and strategies to further connect with your network so that ultimately you can either tap into getting a consulting or freelance client, or you could schedule like a strategy call with me, and that's like a jumpstart call, and it's just like in the work with me tab in my website. And I've just recently retired all of my programs because in 2020 I'm going to be releasing a new workshop and a new course. Just kind of like elevating, going to the next level. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
Oh my God, you're amazing. Like I need to shout you from the rooftops because it's how professional. You're probably the best consultant I could think of possibly for this interview. So I was really happy when you agreed to it.
Oh, thank you, Lee. Thank you. Well, I appreciate it because also it's been nice to see your evolution as well. It's going to be 3 years since we did that mastermind with Louisa.
Can't believe it. Yeah. So
and
it seems like yesterday, but also so long ago. So yeah, totally.
And then I also saw you for dinner in Anaheim. Do you remember that when we also met with Susan?
Yeah, we did. We like briefly caught up a little bit, but I was like, it wasn't as long though, because I felt like that mastermind we were so bonded together for reasons I will not mention.
Yes.
So
yes.
But yeah, we did see each other. Anaheim was awesome. But yeah, you are based in San Francisco. I'm going to come up there more for conferences, definitely for tech stuff next year.
Reach out. I'm here.
Awesome. So thank you so much for being on this podcast. I hope to have you on many future episodes to come. I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your time. It's been super valuable to me and hopefully to the stupid people who listen to this podcast. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Lee.
Yeah. And I'll catch you soon.
I'll see you online.
Yeah, you too.